In 1993, a man named MacArthur Wheeler robbed two banks in broad daylight with no mask, no disguise, nothing covering his face at all. He'd rubbed lemon juice on his skin. He believed it would make him invisible to security cameras, the same way lemon juice works, as invisible ink on paper. He'd even tested it. He snapped a Polaroid of his juice-covered face beforehand. The photo came out blurry. To him, that was proof the trick worked. He walked out with the cash, unhurried. He robbed a second bank the same way, hours later. That night, police showed up at his door. They knocked when they played him the surveillance tape. He wasn't angry. He wasn't ashamed. He was confused. "But I wore the juice," he said. "Here's the part that should bother you." A psychologist named David Dunning read about Wheeler and got stuck on one question. If Wheeler was too incompetent to plan a robbery, was he also too incompetent to see it? The skill you'd need to catch a bad idea is the same skill you'd need to have a good one in the first place. You cannot use a broken ruler to measure how bent it is. Dunning brought the idea to a graduate student, Justin Kruger. In 1999, they ran an experiment that would end up naming an entire blind spot in human perception. They tested students on three ordinary things: grammar, logic, and telling what's actually funny. Then they asked each person two questions. How do you think you did? And how do you think you did compared to everyone else in the room? The students who scored in the bottom 12th percentile guessed they'd landed around the 62nd. They weren't just wrong. They believed they'd beaten 2 out of every 3 people in the room. Now flip it. The students who scored in the top 86th percentile did the opposite. They underestimated themselves, assuming the test had felt easy for everyone, not just them. Competence comes with side effect. It hands you a clear view of everything you still don't know, and that view is humbling. Incompetence has no such window. From inside it, everything looks fine. In that same 1999 study, the people worst at identifying what's actually funny were most confident in their sense of humor, because judging a joke and understanding a joke use the same wiring. When it's broken in both directions. Right now, some part of you is thinking, sure, but that's not me. I'd know. That reflex, that small, warm reassurance, is the exact same feeling Wheeler had standing in the bank lobby. It's not information. It's the symptom. Ask a room full of people if they're better than the average driver. And in study after study, roughly 93% raise their hand. 93% cannot be above the middle. That's not opinion. It's arithmetic. Every one of them ran an honest gut check on themselves and got back a false yes. Because the tool doing the checking is the same tool that's broken. So maybe you stop trusting your own head and start asking other people instead. Good instinct, and it also fails quietly because you choose who gets to weigh in. And the same faulty judgment under investigation is a judgment picking the jury. And here's where it gets dangerous outside your own head. Put two people in a disagreement. Let one speak with total certainty. Let the other add careful, honest qualification. A room will side with the confident one almost every time, even when the confident one is wrong. The person with the least accurate read on their own ability is very often the most persuasive person in the building. They get the promotion, they get the microphone, and the person who actually knows what they're talking about, the one hedging honestly, reads as weak by comparison. Somewhere in your life right now, someone confidently wrong is shaping a decision that affects you, and you have no clean way from inside your own skull to be sure that person isn't you, because from the inside, being wrong feels exactly like being right. So here's where you actually stand. You can't test yourself. The tester is a thing on trial. You can't trust the feeling of being right. Wheeler had that exact feeling in the lobby. The crowd won't save you because you picked the crowd. Every exit is closed except one, and it's the thing you might be feeling right now. If any part of this made you uneasy, because worrying that you might be the fool is something a real fool never does. Wheeler never asked it. The bottom 12 percentile never asked it. That question simply never arrived. Socrates said it 2,400 years ago, better than anyone since. He claimed he was wiser than the men around him for exactly one reason. Not because he knew more, but because he was the only one who understood how little he actually knew. Wheeler covered his face in juice and felt completely safe. You're sitting here uneasy, running the question over in your head. He was certain and he was wrong. You're unsure, and that's exactly where you want to be. Why you are the way you are. Subscribe for the next one.